My name's Judy Jones. I'm a body language and social behaviour expert. I work on programmes like Big Brother, and I write books about everything to do with image and impact. Really like to talk about putting yourself across at special occasions like job interviews. And I think the worst bit of advice people get, particularly when you're still at school, is parents, friends and teachers tend to say, be yourself. Just be yourself, go along and relax and be yourself, which is complete pants really, because unless you sit in your own home with a load of strangers in front of you asking you questions, it can't be yourself. So it's definitely worth investing some time in thinking about how you're going to look and how you're going to behave, because I think until you get there, you know, you can walk in, somebody can make you feel nervous, or you can over-relax when you're sitting in the seat chewing gum or something, having a laugh. And really, it's kind of investing time in a bit of a dress rehearsal to make you feel a bit more comfortable. You never know exactly what's going to happen when you get there. It might be one person, it might be several people interviewing you. But the thing is not to be intimidated, because you both want the same thing. You know, if you want the job or the college place or whatever, they want you to be good as well. So they're not really sitting there like an enemy trying to find fault with you. They're hoping that you're going to be brilliant so you don't use up too much of their time. So remember, you're both after the same thing. Before you go, work out what you're going to wear, and make sure you go in something that makes you feel quite confident. I'm not saying it should be overtly comfy, because you don't want to turn up in your sort of your best ripped jeans and look too casual. It should be seen as a bit of a special occasion, because you want to look as though you want the job and you've dressed a bit, but there's no need to go like a dog's dinner. I mean, don't suddenly decide, oh, I'm going to wear really high heels even though I've never worn them, you know, because you won't be able to walk in them. Pencil skirts are very fashionable at the moment, but you know, if you walk in with little steps and nearly trip over, it's not going to work on anybody. And with the guys as well, you know, if you're not used to wearing a tie, it might be a good idea if it's a formal company. Just give it a bit of a run through so that you look more comfortable, and you remember to say undo your jacket before you sit down, stuff like that. Get in front of a full-length mirror and get a chair in front of a full-length mirror at home, and just work on walking up to the chair, sitting down, seeing how you sit, not sitting with your arms wrapped around your body and your legs crossed twice or anything like that. Making sure that you know where to put your bags when you go in. But the big thing for me is making an entrance, because you've only got 3 seconds to create a first impression. And I'm not saying that if you're dreadful when you walk in, you won't get the job. But if you can just look the part as you walk in, it helps a lot, and they kind of get a better impression of you. They might just be that bit more interested. So before you walk into the room, take a moment, pull yourself up to full height, relax your facial expression, try and smile a bit. Don't do a big cheesy grin, because that won't work, but you know, just look a bit more relaxed. Make sure you've got your right hand free for shaking hands when you walk in, so you haven't got all your bags in your right hand. And just breathe out and lower your shoulders, because when we get stressed and tense, you know, I've seen people walk into job interviews like that. Remember, the first thing that you're probably going to have to do is to shake hands. They should put their hand out first, and you respond. Only if they offer. If they don't worry about it. It doesn't look very good to wipe it first in front of them. I know you don't want to give anybody a squelchy handshake, but wiping it on your trouser leg doesn't look very good. So before you go into the room, if you know your hands get a bit sweaty, which is quite normal, just get some freshen up pads or sort of tissue or something, wipe your hands before you go in so you can give a nice firm dry handshake. Use eye contact, smile when you're introduced, wait to be offered a seat, sit down, put your bag down, sit back in the seat. If you're so short that means your feet come off the floor, then sit a bit further forward. But and hope that you've got arms to the seat, because it always looks more relaxed if you rest your elbows on the chair rather than just sitting there. And never ever bind yourself around the chair. It's incredibly easy to wind yourself around the arms of the chair and your legs around it, look like you're being held hostage or something. So if you practice all that before you get there, then when you sit down, you get something called muscle memory, which is where you just do it naturally. So you don't need to be aware of your body language all the time. And then just play it by ear. You know, they'll be asking you some questions. Look like a good listener is important, because often you sit there like a test, you know, I know the answer to this one, and you're jumping in with the answers. Always take a moment when they ask a question, pause slightly, think about it, and then come back with your answer. But when they're speaking to you, they will want to see that you're absorbing all the information, everything that they're telling you about the company, about the job and everything. So you use eye contact, you don't need to speak, you just use a kind of paced nodding while you're listening. And that will almost be as good as the answers that you give to the questions, because it shows that you're mature enough to listen, that if you're working for them, you will listen to what they say, you will learn about the job, etc. And then really the last thing to do is to ask a few questions, not about money, not about holidays, but show some interest in the job, because they might actually say to you, have you got any questions? If you just sort of go, no, it looks like you're bored by the whole thing. Yeah. So, you know, you could just ask them, think of a couple before you get there is a good idea. And then when you leave, you're probably going to go through the same ritual again. They'll probably want to shake hands with you again, and then they'll show you out. And again, you know, don't start getting clumsy, just stand up, shake them by the hand, smile, thank them. Even if you think you haven't got the job, don't look bitter and twisted, just smile nicely and walk out, and that's it. It's not hard, it just takes practice.
That's great. Thanks for that. That's really useful.
Thank you.
Cheers.